other people coming from the other disciplines to come sit over there and exchange views how to do that, because at the end of the day, it is the end user which is going to benefit. I mean, maybe something very good for academics and all that, because in sometimes in academics, we cannot even spare a single micron within the theoretical knowledge. But as we go into the industry, we shave off many factors, come up with certain factor of safeties and all that. So that has also to be taken care of. So with this, I think this has been a very meaningful conference. And as you all know, it expired 2019. This is just due in January 2019. So we are starting off right away. After leaving this hall, these people who have arranged all this for you, and a very nice show, they will be starting right away, because it really takes a tremendous time, tremendous energy, with so many volunteers, with so many people working day and night to bring all of you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Safir Rafiki. Now it's time to call upon our distinguished guest from UAE University and Brain Science Institute of Japan, Dr. Fadi Shibata Al-Najjar, to present his keynote address, Wearable Robotics Hand for Home Rehabilitation Operated by the Patient Intention, Therapist Instruction, and Mobile Games. A small abstract of this keynote address. It's a low-cost 3D printed wearable robotics hand for home rehabilitation, which is being presented. The robotic able to train or assist the stroke and finger joints, and could be used for multi-stages of motor impairment after strokes. For the severe impairment, the hand performs physical exercises controlled by either a pre-programmed motions command recorded by the therapist, or by the user unaffected arms command in real time. For moderate impairment, the hand is assisting the user figures movement when needed to complete the desired training defined by mobile applications. Electromygram is an optional attachable module to assess motor recovery. The proposed robotic arm can be used as motivational home rehabilitation tool for stroke patients. The system was tested on a number of healthy individuals to validate the design requirement. It is believed that the system could be economically beneficial for the patients in terms of used material and the time needed from therapeutic supervision. Please welcome Dr. Fadi Shibata Al-Najjar.
Thank you very much for long introduction. Assalamu alaikum. Actually, during the introduction, the projector turned off. It went to sleep mode. So there is time to express my thankful to the organizer of this conference, where they are really very generous to welcome me and take me outside yesterday, where I ate drink karak, sorry. Karak chai, and I experienced the bun. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. That was something totally different, because when first I arrived to Japan, the first thing I ate, where people invite me there, was sushi, and I had like a very strange emotion and face expression. That was 15 years ago, And yesterday when I ate done, I had the same feeling. So I guess my brain is confused with the ingredient, but was good. Was really good as first experience. Yes. So. Hopefully it's now, it will be working now. Oh, okay. So, I will be talking about rehabilitation or the affiliation on robotics and why it's important and what we are doing actually on this regard. And at the end slides, I will talk about the wearable robot. But I guess, or I hope you captured the idea why we are going for that direction. So the first question is, do we need actually technology or robots for rehabilitations? And will it really replace people who deal with patients? Actually, we are not targeting to replace medical doctors. Our target is to help them to see more deep on what is the problem for the patient, especially post-stroke patients. So the most concept of our labs that everybody is different. Everybody is different means, I mean, we know that we have different fingerprint, we have different face print, we have different eye scan, or our eyes is also different. And we believe that even our movement is different. So the way of how we move, how we walk, how we drive, how we drink, how we eat is different. It's unique for each of us. And our main target is actually to look at, use technology, use EEG, use brain scan, use muscles to read exactly what's the difference that our brain has to control our body. And this is the key that we should use when we do any rehabilitation system. Otherwise, actually, we are not rehabilitating the person, but we are actually taking him to the wrong direction. It's very similar to if you have blood B and somebody give you blood A. Your body won't accept it. Your body will fight against it. And we believe that if you have a stroke and you lose your capability to move, if we exact way of how your brain controlling the muscles, it's not possible to rehabilitate you. So we believe that each person has a unique movement, and this movement is encoded somewhere in your muscle, encoded somewhere in your brain or in your spinal cord. And the best way to rehabilitate you is actually to find out this code. So a simple example, in these exoskeleton robots and prosthetic arm robots, which is very common to be used since last 10 years. So exoskeleton robot is very developed robot. You can find HAL2, which is very well known, and prosthetic arm is well known also as a robot design. But the problem of these robots is that, please don't do any surprises. Okay, the problem of these robots is that if you sell these robots to 10 different people, they actually will act exactly the same in these 10 different people, no matter that these different people actually have different way of walking. And we know that different people, 10 different people, they actually have 10 different pattern of walking. But this exoskeleton actually is pre-programmed by a person, mainly programmed by his way of walking. And when you give it to patients, some may accept it, some may not. So we have some. Okay, so first time people wear this kind of exoskeleton, it's really very hard. Even for me, when first time I tried. So it's very hard because your body is fighting with that, and then it will take time for your body to adapt to this motion, and the robot, of course, will not be able to adapt to you. So it's that you have to go to the robot level and try to adapt to that. And so what we feel that there is a gap between the motion intention of you and the motion is produced, which is produced by the robot. And that causes people to fall or not be happy to use this kind of system. So what we try to understand, so actually we know that a human have a brain, control nerve system, control the muscles, but our control in this kind of robot is a bit different. And it's either we be friend or we fight with each other. So we be friend with the robot or fight with each other. So our study is to understand the human control system, adapt the robot motions to human motions, and be friends with this robot. So I don't know if you know the control structure or the bow tie structure, which is presented in 2004. This control structure says that the brain is doing actually very simplified way of motion or very simplified control system. And this control system gradually increased or enhanced or get more complicated while it goes to the muscles. So 2 or 3 signals from the brain can control 50 different muscles. And 50 different sensors, again, go into low dimensions to control or to feedback the brain with simple 2, 3 muscles. So this is what actually explained by here. So the brain is here, and the muscle is here, and the signals, as you see, can increase in dimensionality from the brain to the muscles and decrease in dimensionality from the sensors part to the muscles. So this is how we believe the brain is doing the control. So the brain is just doing very simple tasks, and the spinal cord do more complicated, then the muscles comes to do the whole task. So there is high dimensionality in the output and input part, but there is a very low process in the center or in the brain. And we believe that if we look at this system, it's kind of the control system for neurosynergy system, where we believe that there is a high part where the brain is there, spinal cord, and then the local part that actually control our muscles. And we call this like muscle synergy, sensor synergy, which is local loop for body parts that tell the brain the situation on this part. And if this is true, then with these bow tie structures, whenever people lose their arms or people lose their ability to control their legs, so we should believe that it is not the whole system is corrupted or destroyed, it's just a small part in the input-output system is corrupted. And the system we should develop is actually should be very much connected or very much deal with this kind of situations that does not that meet with the idea of the bow tie structure. In another sense, I hope this explains the idea. So we know when we build the robot, we try always to build the ideal robot, the ideal exoskeleton. But actually, when we build a robot, this robot should go to the status of how the people move or how the patient move and gradually try to take him. I don't know why the emotion is not working, but okay. So the idea is that the robot that we should build should go to the status of the patient and gradually take him back to the ideal motion. So I'll skip a few slides. So this is the steps what we should do. So for people who wear the exoskeleton, first we decrease the joint stiffness of this robot. And we have a mechanism that always behind how much it receives reflexes from the patient. Reflexes means that the body local loops start to against or accepting these machines. As much reflexes we read from this robot, as much as we believe that the body is fighting with this robot. So we try to decrease the stiffness of this robot to try to decrease the stiffness of the robot so it accepts the body motions, and gradually the stiffness increase so that in somehow the patient's first days, he will be the teacher of this robot, and then later on, the robot will take over. So this is the idea. So first we decrease the stiffness, we read the reflex of the body, and then gradually we tune the stiffness based on what the system tried to learn from the body reflexes. And then we try to increase stiffness gradually to take the patient to the status where we actually looking for. So this video is an example of what we have run. So first, we let the subject use support, walk, we read his brain activity, his muscle activity while he's using the system. But the system is actually kind of learning. It's learning state now. It learns how he actually tried to move from his intention, from the EEG, from his brain, and gradually the system tried to increase. I mean, first learn and then gradually try to adjust its motor stiffness to meet with the patient own motion. And this will make the adaptation easy, and hopefully the patients will be much friendly with this robot. Again, we tested the mechanism with the prosthetic arm. So we know that in the market, prosthetic arm has one degree freedom. It's either grasping or not. And it's controlled by EMG, which is in the biceps or triceps. And this kind of robot has it costs so much energy from the body of the patients to move in different status. As you see in this video, so if with this simple task, we just ask patients to move with their regular prosthetic arm, this is the market prosthetic arm, to move object from these positions to these positions, and you can see how he's struggling because this is first time he's using, and this machine is just one-way control. But the idea is that we want this patient, we need to increase the degree of freedom of this rotation of the wrist. So we develop a system that, again, first try to learn the behavior of the shoulder and upper trunk motion of the patients, and gradually use this information, input it in a neural network to understand what he's trying to do, predict what he's trying to do, and implement or put the output on the rotation of the shoulder. So this video shows, again, very similar to exoskeleton robot. So the first round, the machine tried to understand his body behaviors, and try to capture his shoulder, his upper trunk motions, and try to adjust the parameters of the rotation of the wrist using tacit learning. Tacit learning is a mechanism that actually tries to adapt different kind of joints based on predefined algorithm. So after training, in this case, the mechanism could capture his upper body motions, and whenever he tried to do hard work, try to adjust the rotation of the shoulder. So after 10 minutes, approximately, the system learns the patient body motions and try to adapt it to the rotation of the wrist. And usually patients, after going into this round, we put them in another round to check the generality of the system. So we put them in this kind of environment where we ask them to move, try to get use of these facilities, and we look at the rotation of the angles here. It's not predefined or it's not voluntary. It's just unconsciously based on his body. Our system detects what he's trying to do and do the rotation based on that, which is very natural way of doing this. And he has only control, voluntary control of his grasping, but not the rotation. We check also that usually we use SIM to look at the energy consumption of the patients, and we found that after the training of the system, the energy consumption of the patients get very low, significantly low. I guess we can skip this one. And let's look at the let's look at the energy consumption and look at the shoulder angle. Similar thing is we are looking at the motion. We started to look at the EMG and calculate the muscle synergy of different patients in their affected side and healthy side. And from the healthy side, we capture of the same person. So we capture from the healthy side what's actually the brain is telling the muscles. We capture these motions and try to transfer it to the affected side using mechanical support or, as I'm sure later, stimulation support directly to them. So here the patient using his body, his healthy side to train the affected side. So we record the muscle activity here, use our algorithm to calculate muscle synergy and reduplicate that on his affected side. And we show that we could prove that the person trained himself is much, much better than trained by some other person, because it's kind of the body teaches himself, and it's also because the idea that each of us is unique. Okay, so here also we develop again the same system. This system is for upper body balance. So we try to find the balance limitation of different people, and we try to predict their stability level, and after that. So, for example, this person, we push the treadmill left or right, predict his stability level, and then later on we build a system that try to adjust or improve his stability or balance using this kind of the same issue. So treat the body, treat what the brain is trying to tell the muscles, and build the machine that try to help the brain to do what it should do. This work is patented in 2012. This work is autism. Yesterday I talked about, but I want to just jump. Okay, so hopefully you captured the idea what we're trying to do. So mainly we are trying to understand how human move and build a unique code for that person. Try to build the machines that actually apply this mechanism. And recently we started to work in this kind of robot that's actually read. So this is we can consider he's a healthy subject, but is we can consider him as a patient, where his affected side is this left arm, and we ask this patient, or what we built here, we built a sensor, flex sensor in his healthy side or dominant arm that capture his wave motion, and then we transfer that directly to the affected side to do the grasping, to training of the grasping. And also we connected this, so it has a memory that if the therapist actually wear this kind of sensors, we can capture his training, and then in home the patient can wear the motors, the robot, and it also will train him to do the same behaviors. And these are 3D printed, except the motors, and we try to keep it very low cost for home use. And also, one master student in my lab, he built a game where actually it's kind of give motivations for the subject to train in home, and it report to the doctors every time he visits the doctors. The doctor is supposed to look at the memory and see how much he trained during his homestay. Similarly, we started to develop assistive device. So the previous one is a rehabilitation device. This is a kind of assistive device that helps people to be confident when they capture or when they try to grasp a glass of water or daily life. So it works with the sound detection. So people can operate it with the sound, like open, close. And it just gives more stability for people to grasp things. So it gives them stability and give them confidence to keep using their arm. Because the problem for these patients, if they start to use the other arm, day by day, they lose the confidence to use their affected arm, and they lose the control of it. So I believe this is all my talk. I would like to summarize here that the human and robot should be friend for good rehabilitation and support by a robot. That's all for today.
Anybody would like to ask any question? We have a 5 minutes question and answer session. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Freddy, for your wonderful presentation. I think we have experienced many of our elders having some stroke and paralysis on one side. And this particular invention will improve that if one of your side is paralyzed, the better part can work for the worst part. And that's the great thing. And probably in yesterday's presentation, he dealt with a very important aspect of autism. And again, the way the autism is increasing exponentially, the number of patients increasing during the last decade is an exponential increase. So, and we have got very limited number of therapist patients. So, by the use of these robotic techniques, again, a very advanced side of the electrical engineering, I hope the human beings will get an advantage and will be benefited by such research. So again, thank you for your one today, tomorrow. I'll now request the Secretary General of the Institution of Engineers, Pakistan, Engineer Mian Sultan Mahmood, to please come and say a few words on this occasion.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear ladies and gentlemen, it is a matter of great pleasure that the Institution of Engineering Pakistan, Karachi Center and NND University of Engineering and Technology, Karachi, had conducted third Electrical Engineering Conference in collaboration with national, international and regional sister engineering organizations and universities. The Institution of Engineering Pakistan is the premier body of engineers in Pakistan and has made significant contribution to the development of country. The role played by the institution is dissemination of knowledge is highly commendable. Recent advancement in science and technology have placed enormous resources at our disposal, which must be harnessed for the welfare of humanity. Pakistan possesses vast natural resources, and it is the duty of our scientists and engineers to utilize these for the welfare of the society and eradication of diseases, ignorance, crimes, poverty, and hunger. I am sure this international electrical engineering conference provides industries opportunities to the participant to benefit from the experience of renowned expert authors from within the country and from abroad who presented their valuable paper during the conference under the theme Aspiring Pathway in Electrical Engineering. And by taking the advantage of chief guest here, Mr. Amar Zia, who is head of distribution engineering in K Electric, there was some papers regarding VFD, variation frequency drive, towards power factor correction, automation of smart metering, net metering, and you see that the renewable energies. So I suggest the Mr. Amar Zia that he should look into for automation of the meter reading. Particularly, he should look into smart metering. You see that radio frequency meters, you see GPS meters. He should highlight the vulnerable feeders. By highlighting the vulnerable feeders, they must install the RF and you see the GPS meter on transformers. So by taking the load profile of the transformers, we can install the LT capacitors, and also you see that we can diagnose from that. You see the energy which we sold from that transformer to the consumers, that who consumer is involved in pilferage of the energy. So to avoid the Kunda system, it was also discussed during the conference that we should install GPS meter on the poles and ABC, you see that the cables. I share the experience that you see that conducted in Lahore, LESCO, that we installed 18,000 meters of radio frequency in Dada Darbar area, Ali Hajwari feeder. Those were about 6,500, and about 11,000 three-phase and single-phase meters of GPRS technology in, you see that Mughulpura area. And you see that the project cost was around, you can see the 160 million rupees, and in 11 months after its installation, it's more than 50% cost was payback. So you know that you see, whatever the other advantage, it is the only advantage of the difference of the theft. You see that the energy losses before you see installing the smart meters, it was 23%, and after that it came down to 7%. If we install the capacitors, electric capacitor on the transformers, it again we can reduce it up to 2%. So the difference of the other than the you see the benefit of the you see the pilferage, we can reduce the load on our system. You know that at the moment our transmission system, distribution system, and even our appliances are not capable to carry out to cater the load of whatever we are needed. So there is a suppressed demand. Once we know that government is very much involved to control the terrorism. So once there is you see we control all these things, so there is a hidden demand. So you see that it will be manifold. But in a case study we calculated that our demand will go more than 10% a year. So it is not possible for us, even we install so many generators, powerhouses, you see that we can't control our, you see that load shedding. This way is only we go for no energy. You know that if on our this roof we produce the energy, use it here, and whatever the extra is, we sell it to the grid. So we can control, you see that there will be no load on the system. So I congratulate all the organizers here who contributed, worked very hard. And lastly, I will request that we should involve industry as much as we can. You see that before, without involving the industry, academia linkages, we cannot, you see, we benefited from our these, you see that conferences. So we should involve industry as much as we can, so that whatever the projects our students are, you see that having the research, that must be, you see that given to the industry, so that it may be practical, we can have the research advantage. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad, IEEC Zindabad.
Thank you, Mia Sultan Mahmood, Secretary General, Institute of Engineers, Pakistan, who has come from Lahore to especially attend this conference. Now it's time to call upon the chief guest of this closing session. Our chief guest on this closing session is Ms. Engineer Amir Zia, Chief Distribution Officer, Electric. Engineer Amir Zia is by profession an electrical engineer and also holds a master's degree in electrical engineering and master's in business administration. He has over 30 years of work experience in power sector. He is currently working as Chief Distribution Officer in K Electric. Previously, he has worked with different utilities in Pakistan and international donor agencies like USAID. He also remained as a consultant with the World Bank on power sector. Engineer Zia has delivered lectures on power sector management and energy sector regulations, both within the country and internationally. Engineer Zia has been with K Electric in his present capacity for the last 2 years. Now please welcome Engineer Amir Zia, Head Distribution Operations, K Electric, our chief guest for today.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Shukriya. So, we have Sultan Sahab, Professor Rafiqi Sahab, Dr. Fedi, Suhail Bashir Sahab, Ayaz Sahab. So, I did my engineering only about 30 years before. Whatever was said in the last 2-3 presentations that I actually attended was probably all Greek to me. समझ नहीं आई मुझे. So, वजह समझ इसलिए नहीं आई कि I have not been part of the academia for the last so many years. But nevertheless, कुछ अर्सा पहले I was traveling abroad, so was privileged to attend 2 conferences. One was for the this was related to the European Electric Power Utility Conference, and the other one was international manufacturers, big equipment suppliers. So I'll just take reference to which has a lot of relevance with what I just saw in the last 2-3 slides. So the first conference that was actually on the European utility. So the principal issue that they were kind of very concerned was how to reduce the cost. So we're talking of, I deal with high power transmission lines. This conference primarily was dealing with 5 volts and probably less than 5 volts. So I normally deal with 500 kV and above. So, what was being discussed was that, remember there was probably about 20 years before, there was a phenomenal change in the telecom sector. Once the telecom sector switched from being a wired business to an unwired business. So that was the point in time once people in the telecom sector realized that probably the biggest impediment in this entire openness and this to bring in competition was the wire itself. So the moment they went unwired, so there was a huge market that certainly opened up. So power sector actually is sitting right at the edge of that environment. आपके लिए शायद probably एक हैरानकुन बात होगी, but believe you me, probably 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years from now, you'll actually be talking of unwired business. How? आपके घरों के ऊपर solar panels लग गए आपके पास wind energy आनी शुरू हो गई, आपके पास और alternate renewable energies आनी शुरू हो गई. I take a reference to this conference that I was attending, and I think the biggest learning for me from that was that now people are talking of storage batteries. Why do you have to have subsequent redundant costs in the shape of transmission, sub-transmission, distribution, and then you actually start delivering the capacity to the last end consumer? So people are talking of now storage batteries. Same thing happened with the telecom sector. So the thing that was actually probably the component that really geared up the process of competition and providing different service providers was probably the storage battery itself. That resulted in the availability of carrying your set in your pocket for an extended period of time. The moment it happened, it opened up the entire world. So if I look at it like that, don't hold me on account of that, but still, I was told in that workshop that we are talking of probably 300 megawatts, 400 megawatts, 500 megawatts of storage batteries. So it's not 500 megawatts, the consumption would be definitely very different than that. That will be megawatt hours. But still, so the thing is that what needs to be understood is that there is a huge dimensional change that is going to happen within the power sector. So this was one conference. So the other conference that I attended was related to the equipment suppliers. So I was उसमें Siemens भी था, उसमें ABB भी था, उसमें AGE भी था, उसमें all the big names in the world. But surprisingly, I didn't see any transformer over there. I didn't see any switchgear over there. The only thing that they were showing was how to manage the data. Everybody was talking of data. So database management कैसे करनी है आपके, उस data को handle कैसे करना है, how to convert that data into intelligent data, how to do predictive analysis, how to carry out your predictions in terms of what will happen with the system at some point in time in the future. So that was again a world of change from what. So we play very reactive over here. So we let something happen, then take an inference of that, and then we start to build upon how to react. People have gone much beyond that. People are now becoming extremely proactive. So they carry out predictive analysis on the basis of historical data. The data becomes very intelligent because once you convert that through a database management system that can convert into an intelligent data. So what I see lot of academia over here, and I see very young fresh engineers. मुझे ये चीज़ों की समझ नहीं आती इसलिए कि मैंने इंजीनियरिंग आज से 30 साल पहले की थी. But आप लोगों की तो probably this is the life that you people should start looking into. अगर नहीं कर रहे तो please start looking into that. इस मुल्क ने अगर तरक्की करनी है, इस मुल्क ने अगर आगे बढ़ना है, and if you really want that you all as an engineers contribute to the society at large, to this nation, this is what the life is this point onwards. Dr. Freddy's presentation actually was probably the culminating point of that. It all worked on artificial intelligence. It all worked on how can you manage, control, and build upon that artificial intelligence that can actually start supporting you. So I congratulate all of the participants, the listeners, and the ones who gave their presentations. I hope that we understand, we build upon it, and find solutions that are to the betterment of this society at large, our nation, and of course globally the world. Thank you very much. KEC का जिक्र नहीं करूँगा because this is not KEC's. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Amazia, for your wonderful talk. And very well said that when you are out of the university and you are in the profession, and if you are not connected with the institution, then you forget most of the things and it becomes French and Greek. Okay. Now I'll request the Chairman, Department of Electrical Engineering, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ali Memon, to please come forward for the conference recommendations. Engineer Professor Muhammad Ali Memon.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, honorable and distinguished guests, dear authors, presenters, participants, and volunteers, all people here, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to share my comments regarding this conference. Since 2 days, I think since we had Mushaira yesterday, so I would like to first time translate that my first poetic version of this thing, that during these 2 days, IEP नहीं रहा, NED नहीं रहा, और बाकी जितने भी यूनिवर्सिटीज थी वो नहीं रही, और न मेहमान है कोई न मेजबान है, सारे लोग एक टीम हो गए हम. We all have been here as a team, and this conference provided us a platform where we interacted very informally, exchanged views, and it has been really a great pleasure. And so many people have suggested that you guys have reached a level where you can now think to organize this conference at a larger level, and inshallah we will consider that. First of all, I think I will just quickly some of the recommendations point. I think this is a high time to now analyze what are the exports of this country and what is the amount of import. How to fill this gap? What is knowledge-based economy? This is what I think I have gathered these ideas during this conference. How we can achieve this thing, how we can have a meaningful interaction between industry and academia. through R&D to solve the problems of industry. As Rafiqi Saab has time and again been saying that industry has lots of data. It's our responsibility now to come out of the offices, take the pen, meet them, try to understand their problems, get their data, analyze and solve their problems. This is a high time to take up this exercise. And then I think this has to be done from industry and academia side, both of these two. And then one presenter, I think Bazar Saab, to youngsters, he was saying that all the students, as we don't know that how many engineers, electrical engineers are needed for this economy, how many civil engineers are needed for this is a dilemma kind of all the times it has been. So every engineer won't get a job. This is a time to think about creating the jobs. Self-employ yourself. Be an entrepreneur. Whatever the graduate, when I think now the test point for us, a challenge for us, for the universities is a KPI will be, a time will come when KPI will be that whoever is getting graduate engineer, is he able to start his business or not? If yes, we have done our job. If not, then something is wrong and we need to think about it. At the end, I want to congratulate all the organizers from NED side, IEP side. And I am grateful to, I will name Rafiqi Saab, our Vice Chancellor Saroj Saab, Suhail Saab. These are the people who have actually inspired us. And we are lucky to have them. And all the participants, I am grateful to you. And especially today, I would like to name some guys who are working at IEP. They are the unsung heroes behind these events. Since 2 years, I am observing this thing. Sikandar Saab, Sharif Saab, Saif Saab, Saleh Mohammad, Imran Javed, Sakhidat, Ahmed Baksh. And I will request you to have a great clap for them. In the end, volunteers, I congratulate you, I appreciate you, I acknowledge your ownership of this conference. I love you, and you all are the heroes. You are the people, you are the kids whom we want you to train and pass through this process and be leaders of the future. So, in the end, volunteers are the heroes, and I salute you. Thank
Now it's my humble duty to perform a very important part of this conference. Is the announcement of the best paper adjured in this conference. There were 3 papers which were very close. The one by Abira Khan and Dr. Mohammad Mohsin Aman on arch flash mitigation techniques. The second one was impact of reconfiguration and demand response program considering electrical vehicles in smart distribution networks by Binish Sultana and M.W. Mustafa. And the third paper, which was also very close, was on video stream transmission over network on board UAVs for surveillance applications by Mohammad Naveed and Sameer Ghazi. These were the 3 best papers, presented in this conference, and with the consensus of the jury, the best paper is declared the one presented by Mohammad Naveed and Sameer Kazi of PFT on video stream transmission over network on board UAS for surveillance application. Just to give you the abstract of this paper, nobody can deny the importance of technology in modern times to ensure proper surveillance in recent days. Voluminous attention gained by unmanned aerial vehicles to achieve this object. The economical and optimized solution provided by UAV for continuous surveillance through video at distance site in rural and urban regions are great source of convenience where otherwise a lot of human resource and technological equipments are needed. In this paper, they have proposed a framework that is a UAV-based system which serves as an active monitoring scheme for disaster prevention or crime by taking timely action, if required, using models of wireless propagation, multi-path propagation loss, and shadowing. They examined the performance of mobile and stationary camera-mounted UAVs in terms of thorough output of such a video streaming system in a simulated environment. Now to receive the Chairman IEEC Karachi Center Medal for Best Paper in this conference, I request, please welcome Engineer Mohammad Naveed and Dr. Sameer Kazi to please come forward to receive the medal. The Chairman IEEC Karachi Center and Secretary General IEEC Karachi Center to please come forward. डॉक्टर साहब अब तो कुछ थोड़ी देर खड़ा होना पड़ेगा यार सर I'll request the Vice President Electrical Engineer Grove to please join the presentation party. Now we have got few mementos to be presented on this issue in this conference. I'll request Engineer Mr. S.M. Kashif, IT Coordinator, to please come forward. He is responsible for live telecasting this conference on U channel. This conference was live on U channel, YouTube. Excuse me. Kashif. I request Sharik Sheikh and Mohammad Adnan to also come forward to receive the mementos. Hafiz Mohammad Furqan, Ammar Salim, Hassanul Haq, Aisha Khan, Wasim Sangi, Faizan Rafiq, Abdullah Munir. Please come forward to receive your respective mementos. Even if it is exchange, you can exchange later on. Let's. Sir, एक एक देते हैं और बाद में. I request Dr. Mohsin Ahman, Dr. Abdul Rahman Javed Sheikh, Dr. Muhammad Ali Beg, and Dr. Riazuddin to please come forward to receive the mementos. Dr. Muhammad Ali Memon, please join the presentation party. Come on, join. Sir, please come, please come, please come. I'll also request our senior member, local central council, Engineer Asim Murtaza Khan, to please join the president party. Asim Saab is the ex-CEO of Pakistan Petroleum. Now, I request Engineer Muhammad Ali Memon to come forward to receive the memento. And Dr. Saad Kazi, please come forward. Dr. Freddy, the keynote speaker for the inaugural and closing session, to receive the certificates. Give another hand. I request the chairman IB Karachi Center to please pass the memento to our honorable chief guest, Engineer Amir Zia, Head of Distribution Operations, K Electric. Thank you, Mr. Amir sir, for sparing your time to attend this closing session. I'll request please take your seats so that we move to the second part. Now, I'll call upon Dr. Saad Kazi and Dr. Muhammad Ali Memon to distribute the certificates to the paper reviewers who are here. Dr. Muhammad Mohsin Aman, Dr. Riazuddin, Dr. Abdul Rahman Javed Sheikh, Dr. Samir Kazi, Mr. Faizan Rafiq, Engineer Usman ul Haq, and Dr. Muhammad Ali Beg. Well, as very rightly said by Dr. Muhammad Ali Memon, that the success of the conference belongs to the volunteers. And to acknowledge their efforts, we would like to give them certificates on this occasion. First of all, I'll call the volunteers from PF Keet, Shahrah-e-Faisal, Azim, Moizullah Farid. Dr. Samir Kazi, please join the presentation party. Dr. Samir Kazi, please join the presentation party. Sayyid Adil Junaid, Amjad Beg Chuktai, Shehbaz Hussain, Sayyid Salim, Faizan Azim and Sheikh Shahrah-e-Faisal. Please come one by one and receive your certificates. कोई बात नहीं है, नाम चेंज हो जाएंगे. Dr. Faisal is around from Hamdard University. For the second part, the volunteers from Hamdard University, I'll request Dr. Faisal to please join us in the presentation party. Mansaf Ali Abro, Rao Mohammad Arsalan, Atta Mohammad, Mohammad Faizan, Talha Ikrar, Atta Mohammad, Mohammad Faisal Khan, Sadiqur Rahman, Tariq Haider, Mohammad Faizan, and the faculty coordinators Dr. Tariq Javed and of course Dr. Mohammad Faisal Khan. Please come forward to receive your certificate. ये बस दे सारे सबको हम this is Hamdard. Now I request the volunteers from the Institute of Industrial Electronics, Industrial Electronics Engineering. I request the faculty member Mr. Dudani to please come forward for the presentation party, and I now call upon Mr. Akhtar Rasool, Ali Haider, Arslan Kaisar, Awais Ali, Hunain Nasir, Asif Raza, Sufyan Raza, Naveed Ahmad, Shahriyar Hussain. Dudani sir. Muzammil Ali Bahadur, Shiza Asif, Kamarunisa, Sidra Khan, Fasi Harun, Mr. Liaquat, and Sadra Khan. Please come forward. जो मौजूद है वो As Dr. Muhammad Ali Beg was telling you, this, your work as a volunteer, as I told you yesterday also, that we are not looking for free labor. We want you to train. 30 years back, I was in the same position. I was a volunteer here in a conference, and now I am standing here as the chief organizer of this conference. So tomorrow we want to transfer the baton to you people. We are looking forward for the people who want to work in technical activities. Please come forward, work with us, and take over the control of this institution in future. Engineer Sidra Harun, Mike. Mohammed Saib. या सगीर, सिद्रा हारून, बासित फारूकी, मोहम्मद साइम, वजिया सगीर, तूबा तारिक, सना रफाकत, मोहम्मद ताहा, नसरुल्लाह, एहसन अतीक, मोइजुल्ला, समीरा सिद्दीकी, वजाहत अली खान, शहबाज शाहजेब आदिल, मुनीबा आसिफ, अब्दस बेग, अक्सा खान, मानूर तय्यूम, अनीस, कुमैल, माहम फरद, उजैर अली खान, मोहम्मद सलीम, उमामा जहीन, जीशान शेख, सादुल इस्लाम, and Irtiza Shakil. Please come one by one and receive your certificates. ये तस्वीरें आपको 15-20 साल बाद याद आएंगी जब आप देखेंगे और याद करेंगे उन दिनों। Now, for the concluding remarks and presentation of vote of thanks, I request Engineer Ayaz Mirza, Secretary IP Karachi Center, to please come for presentation of vote of thanks. I request all the participants to please take their seats. The presentation part is over and the last part is about to begin, followed by the high tea. Please take your seats. I'm sorry. Barrier University के volunteer Mohammed Adil, please come forward. Barrier University Mohammed Adil. PHS Sufa University, Ubaid Ahmed Khan, Ahmed Saeed, Haya Fatma, Daniel Mazhar, Usman Ahmed, Mahad Nadeem Bilal Yusuf, and Nazim Mushtaq. Anybody from PHS Sufa around? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Now it's time for Ayaz Mirza to present vote of thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Please take your seats. All the participants are requested to please take their seats. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Engineer Amizia, Head of Distribution, elected Chief Guest of this closing ceremony of 3rd International Electrical Engineering Conference. Dr. Fadi Shiba Al-Najjar, UAE University College of Information Technology and Brain Science Institute, Japan, keynote speaker for the inauguration as well as the closing ceremony. Engineer Professor Dr. S.F.A. Rafiqi, Chairman IEEC Karachi Center, Engineer Mia Sultan, I think just left for the flight, Secretary General, IEP, Engineer Abdul Rauf, Vice President IEP, Engineer Muzaffar Ahmed, Vice President IEP, Engineer Suhail Bashir, the Chief Organizer, Engineer Professor Dr. Saadir Qazi, Dean Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering and University, Engineer Dr. Muhammad Ali Memon, Engineer Dr. Riazuddin, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I am very grateful to the Chief Engineer, to the Chief Guest of this, kindly consented our request to grace this closing ceremony of 3rd International Electrical Engineering Conference. I am very grateful, sir. You have spared your valuable time to grace this occasion, and by virtue of this, major utility of the city has been participated and has seen what is going around in the institution of engineers. 3rd Electrical Engineering Conference was, as all you know, was jointly organized by IEEC Karachi Center and the University of Engineering and Technology in collaboration with 13 other universities and institutions and 2 international engineering federations. This electrical engineering conference has now become a regular feature of the IEP. It was started in the year 2016 with the joint collaboration of NED University of Engineering and Technology. The first conference was held in the year 2016 and the second in 2017 in the month of May. And this is the 3rd conference of this series. I take this opportunity to announce that we have already planned the 4th International Electrical Engineering Conference and on the same theme, which is Aspire 2019. And the tentative days has been scheduled to be 25th and 26th of January 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, as with all such events, this conference has been an outstanding example. Our minds have assailed by a torrent of ideas, informations, statistics, interpretation, and visions. There is indeed plenty to reflect upon, and if this is any way enhances our individual collective contribution to meet the global challenges, then the conference can truly be adjudged as a success. As we have heard over the past 2 days, there is plenty to meet global needs for generation to come, and the industry must ensure at all times that the world's precious engineering reserves are assessed, processed, and distributed to consumer in a timely and orderly manner with stable, reasonable prices. The challenge remains that of the deliverability and not availability. The international resource persons have brought here with them and share with us their knowledge and experience. We understand that you have taken time out of your very important schedules to contribute to this conference, and some of you have even traveled for at very short notices and for long distances. Thank you for your invaluable contribution. Particularly, I would like to thank Dr. Fedi Shiba Al-Najjar, who came long way from UAE for this conference only. The third International Electrical Engineering Conference was focused at power system, renewables, and conservation, and education technology, industrial consideration and application, artificial intelligence, computer systems. During the conference, 20 work papers were presented, including 20 work papers were presented and 6 poster presentations in 8 technical sessions. All papers were scrutinized and peer reviewed, processed by paper review committee. All the present papers were very informative and of today's researches and remarks by all session chairs were remarkable. I also thank all the session chairs for chairing the sessions of the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, third International Electrical Engineering Conference is now coming to an end. And at this stage, I wish to pay tribute to Engineer Professor Dr. S.F.A. Rafiqi, Chairman IEEC Karachi Center, Engineer Professor Dr. Sarosh Ashmadloi, Vice Chancellor NLU University, Engineer Suhail Bashir, Vice Chairman and the Chief Organizer, Engineer Dr. Saad Ahmad Qazi, Dean Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering, NLU University, and convener of this conference, Engineer Dr. Muhammad Ali Miman, Chairman Electrical Engineering Department, NLU University, and Engineer Muhammad Ali Beg, Engineer Dr. Riazuddin, Deputy Chief Organizer, and Engineer Idris Khan, who could not attend this due to some serious illness of his brother, who have played a very pertinent and vital role in organizing this conference. I am grateful to the non-government organization, professional bodies, and representatives of industries who participated in this conference. It is what we expect, and we would like to see this kind of close cooperation in the implementation of strategies. In that, we have come out as well. I also acknowledge the contribution of those presented their papers at this conference. My thanks goes to the members of the print and electronic media who have always cooperated to attend our programs to give wider coverage. I shall be failing in my duty if I don't express my gratitude to the supporting IEEC Karachi Center's staff who contributed their share to the success of this conference, and I pay tribute to the volunteers, as already mentioned by everyone, that the success of this conference is by virtue of the tireless efforts of the volunteers. My thanks to the organization who have supported to make this event a success. Before I conclude, I thank Engineer Suhail Bashir for his expert and able guidance. It is needless to say that today's program would not have been such a grand success without continuous supervision and monitoring of him. I cannot take everyone's name and mention the involvement of everybody, but I thank you all who have contributed towards the success of this organization. In the end, my sincere and deep-hearted thanks to the Almighty Allah who gave us the courage to hold this occasion with the full justice, with full justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Yaz Mirza. I'll just take this opportunity to announce one thing which Ayaz Mirza mentioned, that the 4th International Electrical Engineering Conference will be held, inshallah, on 25th and 26th January 2019. And the conference theme is the same, Aspiring Pathways in Electrical Engineering. And in our abstract bullet, this is already mentioned, the call for papers, the acceptance and all the details required for the conference. Second, I will be failing my duty if I don't thank the sponsors, Messrs. Universal Cable, Messrs. Creative Group, and Messrs. PST Services. And I am especially thankful to Engineer Asim Murtaza Khan Sahab for arranging the sponsors on a very short notice. Asim sir, thank you very much. While distributing the certificates to volunteers, I forgot to mention a few names of the Barrier University, and I request now the two heroes of this conference, Mirza Muhammad Ali Beg and Abdul Rahman Javed Sheikh. Please come forward for the presentation of the certificates to the Barrier University volunteers. I request Taha Suhail, Hawa Amin, Rahil Jabbar, Suna Somro, and Muhammad Hamad to please come forward to receive the certificates. Yeah. With this, we come to the conclusion. And now, after the Asr prayers, tea will be served. Please join us for Asr prayers and tea. Thank you very much to all of you.
ग्रुप फोटोग्राफी के लिए प्लीज आ जाएं आप लोग। अजी भाई ये तो वाला बंद कर दो, वाला बंद ही कीजिए। सही, मैं वो यूएसबी में प्रेजेंट करूंगा। अच्छा